Hello everyone, welcome back to my fourth video. This is number 4 and we're going to be making fractions easy. So let's get started. The main content today, we're going to be going through what actually is a fraction, so the definition. We're going to be going through how to simplify, what are mixed fractions. We're going to be going through multiplication, division, addition and subtraction of all fractions. So these is kind of like a summary of the rules. I'll give you a quick overview at the end too, which might be more useful for everyone who just wants to recap. And then we're going to finish off with common denominators. So, getting straight into it. For those of you who don't know, a fraction is just one number divided by another. It's quite simple. So if I showed you 3 divided by 10, it's exactly the same as showing you 3 over 10. That kind of over, so the line, literally just means divide. It's the same as a divide symbol, and all 3 things on the screen here are the same, just in different forms. So going on to simplify, how do we actually simplify fractions? So if you use one of my previous videos on the highest common factor, this will help you out a lot, so I would recommend checking that out. Basically, you just divide the top and bottom by the biggest number. So if we use 8 divided by 12, for example, the highest common factor, as you can see at the bottom left here, is 4. We can then divide the bottom and the top by the biggest number, which is 4, and that leaves us with 2/3. And just to prove this method works, if you go on your calculator and type in 8 divided by 12, you will get 0.6 recurring, the same as if you type 2/3. Right, so moving on to mixed. To put it simple, I kind of break it up into 2 ways. I think of it as there's a whole part, so kind of like a whole number, and a fraction part. As you can see here, the 3 on its own is the whole, and the fraction, the 1/3, is the fraction. So going from a mixed to an improper, basically the only rule you need to remember is multiply the whole by bottom and then add the top. What that means is, if we take the example above, so 3 and then 1/3, you can take the whole, which is the 3, times it by the bottom, which is another 3, and then add the top. So 3 times 3 gives you 9, add 1 gives you 10, and then it's all over 3. And there you go, 10/3, 10 over 3. Going from an improper to mixed, it is basically where you divide the top by bottom for the whole, and then you subtract the remainder for a fraction. Might sound a bit complicated, but let's get into it. So if we use that same previous example, just to prove that it works, 10 over 3, how would we go about converting this back to mixed? So if we follow the steps, divide the top by bottom for the whole, so 10 divided by 3, 3, 6, 9, which is 3 steps, so it goes into it 3 times. You can then put that 3 up here as the whole, and then if we read this bottom one, subtract remainder for fraction, we can then take the 9, take it away from the original 10, and it leaves you with 1/3. Multiplication. So the steps are quite easy. You just multiply the top, multiply the bottom, and then simplify. So if we use 2/3 times by 4/5, you get 8 over 15. Quite simple. For division, the steps I like to use are flip the second fraction, multiply, and simplify. A good method is if it's over the line, you flip the sign, which just means swap it round. 3 over 4 divided by 2 over 5. You then leave the first one as it is, so you'd leave it as 3 over 4. But you would then flip the second fraction and times it. This would then give you 15 over 8. And there you go, that's as simple as it gets. Moving on to adding, quick tip, whatever you do to the top, you do to the bottom. In general with maths, whatever you do to the left, you do to the right. It's just to create an equilibrium between everything. The steps, make the bottom the same, add the top numbers, and then simplify. So we have 1/4 and 1/2. Make the bottom the same, So you times the second one by 2. Remember the tip, both top and bottom. So this is 1/4 plus 2/4, which will then give you 3/4. Subtraction, again, whatever you do to the top, you do to the bottom. Lowest common multiple might help, so again, that video is very useful for this. And the main steps are make the bottom the same, subtract the top, and then simplify. So we have 1/4, take away 1/6. Using LCM, we can find that it is 12. So if we make the bottom both 12 and timesing them both respectively, we will get 3/12, take away 2/12, which, just taking away the top, is 1/12. So this is quite an important part of the video. Just a recap, this will kind of show you all the rules in one page. So this is where, if you're trying to recap, very important. How to times, you just do top times top, bottom times bottom. Very simple. If you're trying to divide, you just do top times top, bottom times bottom, but then you flip it. So it'll turn around to top times bottom, bottom times top. All that basically means is just flip the second fraction and simplify. It's that simple. To add, you just make the bottom the same and then add the top. And then to subtract, make the bottom the same and take away the top. That is a lot of information, a lot of different rules to learn. So if you're more of an applied person like me, I would check out my Q&A videos where I'll be going through all the different steps and how I go about solving real exam questions. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked the video. Goodbye.